Hey man, what's going on?
Nothing much. Just, summer is here.
Summer is here, man. Oh my God. It's
Feels
been it's been a long time since I've had you on here. It's been a long time since I've actually done this. So this is like so bear with me, but this is like a return in a way, you know. It's been a
yeah,
little
feels
while.
good.
It
You look
does. It
great. I
feels
love the
really good.
blonde.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, yeah.
And did you blonde up the beard too, or is that a natural salt and pepper?
That's natural salt and pepper, baby.
Oh yeah, I love that. I wish I was going gray. That's like my dream in life is to go gray and gray here before I go bald. And I'm losing the battle. I'm going bald.
Isn't that funny, man? Like you people want to become gray, right? Like
Yeah.
I even think I dyed my hair gray once. Like,
I did a couple years ago. I dyed it silver because I was like, I want
yeah,
to look old. I want that.
yeah. I cut hair. That's what I do. Actually, this is a new spot. I'm in the back of my barber shop here. This is like a new little office area.
That's what you do as like a day job kind of vibe?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Really?
just me. It's just me. I rent out a little spot, and I have my clients. I've been doing it for a long time. I shut down for COVID for like a couple of years. I
Okay.
just reopened like end of last year. Um,
Congrats, man. That's awesome.
thanks, man. Yeah, and I like it because, like I said, it's just me, and it's like a basement shop. I'm like, it's in a commercial area. Like, there's actually a salon upstairs.
Okay.
So I just rent out the bottom spot, and it has a kind of a New York City kind of downstairs kind of vibe to it.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that's what I was going for, and it's a lot of fun, man. I really like talking to people one on one and just
Yeah,
get to know people, and it's funny, you become kind of like a therapist too,
I bet.
because you hear everyone feels comfortable talking to me or just barbers in general. So
For sure. Wow. It's,
um
it's like a podcast every haircut, I bet. It's
yeah,
like
yeah. And it's funny,
like
I actually thought about mixing the two,
oh, that'd be amazing.
right, right. I mean, I'm not saying it's 100% original. I think it's been done, but
That's a
I
good
think it'd
idea
be
though,
I
either
think
way.
it'd be cool. Yeah. So yeah, man, it's been a long time. This is your fifth time on this show.
Are you serious?
Yeah. If you're
I
in the
thought it was
five timers club, man.
that's I need a jacket.
Jackets in the mail.
I
Jackets in the
I
mail.
thought it was the third. That's crazy. It is the fifth.
It's the fifth. There was three of them, and then we
Right.
did a live one. That was the last one we did. So
Right. Okay.
it's funny. I was actually looking through the videos today, and there's this one guy who kind of comments all the time. He's a big fan of you, and he comments all the time, and he calls you the Dost man. And
Sweet.
I was like, you know what? It's a very basic nickname, but it's very effective, and I think it works for you, man.
I like it. I appreciate that. That's what Nate from
The
Fun called
Dost man.
me. I always like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so you've had that name before. You've heard that name before.
Oh, I've only really heard it from Nate, and I feel like when I was a kid, I wanted that as my nickname, but I felt like I was like trying to make it happen myself, and it never
Right.
really. But
Right.
yeah, I'm okay with that. That's
Well, there
cool.
you go, man. Here we are, the Dost man.
Yeah, yeah.
I was thinking about doing some immersive, uh, like we sit in a classroom or we sit in a. Let's see how it works out. If that's
Okay.
cool
All
with
right.
you, yeah. Let's
Yeah,
see,
absolutely.
because it's just yeah. Oh, so
I've never
that's
tried this.
that's weird that it put the square around it.
Wow.
Oh, there we
Oh,
go. There
wait,
we
we're next
go.
to each other.
Yeah.
That's
Oh my
so
God,
cool.
I'm like a giant though.
I know I'm a little guy. This
Let's
is so
see. Let's see if there's other ones here.
wow, that's really cool.
um,
I didn't know you could do this. I feel like I've seen hats,
yeah.
but never like this. This
This
is
one, this one's really cool. Let's see. Let's see if it works. We're art.
wow. Oh, that's so cool.
I
Eh,
think we'll do this one. You cool with
I love
this?
it. Yeah, this is sweet.
Cool.
Nice. You're so
um,
tech.
uh, I like to think I am, but I don't know, man. You know what? I become like tech support for people,
Oh,
like
sure. Yeah, yeah.
family members, friends call me up and they think I know everything, and I Google everything. You know?
Yeah, that's same whenever anybody asks, like I was just teaching, and when my students would be like, "How do you do this?" I'd be like, well, these programs can do a lot of stuff. I don't know. Let's Google it." That's what I do
Yeah,
half the time.
yeah, yeah. That's what I do. It's like I'm like, you can do the same thing I'm doing, but I understand. You want my thought pattern along with
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where are you living now?
I'm in Traverse City still right now, Northern Michigan, but I just got a spot in Detroit and I think I'm going to move sort of to Detroit at least kind of about half the time because I want to get this new, this new project, Metal Bubble Trio, off the ground.
Yes.
Feel like in terms of playing shows, meeting band, I got a band here, but they all have kids and day jobs. So it's kind of hard to like say, let's take a month and hit the road because that's just not their reality. Um, so I'm hoping to put something a little more consistent together. And I feel
Yeah.
like Detroit is a good jumping off point for that.
Oh, absolutely. Now, this is a band you started 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe at this point.
Yeah. Oh, I started making the music and basically I think you were right. Yeah, you know some of this stuff, like the bossa nova thing. I
Yes.
got really, I guess for anyone listening that hasn't heard any of these previous interviews, I got really obsessed with bossa nova.
Yep.
Started taking lessons, started learning how to do it during the pandemic. And then after kind of years of I was trying to write songs, but they were all just not I just didn't like them very much. I
Mhm.
guess I can't say they weren't good or were good or any, I guess I can't really vouch for the objective quality, but I didn't like them. And I didn't feel like I was hitting the mark that I maybe set for myself as a writer. And I got so into bossa nova that I started writing, and suddenly I was like, "Oh shit, these songs are actually like I like them. I want to play them. I want
Yeah.
to like teach them to a band, and I want to perform them in front of people." And the recordings are good. And so I started, getting the recordings together. I worked with my friend Ben Cohen, mixing and kind of post production vibes. I got a little band together with some of my friends here. We've been playing some shows, and I knew that I never wanted to call it my own name. I knew I wanted a name, and somehow I came up with. Well, I know how I came up with it. It's stupid, but the game Snood,
What is it?
Snood, or like
Yeah,
it's
yeah. It's like you
imagine
match the
it's
colors.
a wall of bubbles, and you shoot a bubble at
Yes.
them,
Yes.
explode if it's three or more, and you
Yep.
can change. Anyways, I was my girlfriend at the time and I played this stupid iPad version of that, and there would be the occasional metal bubble that would like I don't even know what they would do, like
Like wipe out the whole board.
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so I just was like, "Ooh, a metal bubble," and then like it was like Metal Bubble Trio. That's it. That's it. And
Yeah.
she was like, "That's not a great name. I don't like that." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right. It's really not." But it was the only name I kind of couldn't let go of all the
Right.
stuff I was coming up with. And so I told a couple other people, and they were like, "No, no, that's not it." And then, but then, like a couple days later, I was like, "Hey, do you remember?" I was wondering, just like, is this sticky? Will they remember it? So I would ask them like a couple days later, "Hey, do you remember that band name I mentioned the other day?" And they're like, "Yeah, Metal Bubble Trio." And I was like, "All right, we got something here."
Yeah.
And so to this day, I'm like, it's not a great name, I'll admit it, but like it's easy to remember. MBT is a good acronym.
Yep.
And I feel like that's kind of half the battle. Like, can you abbreviate it? Does it present interesting like design choices,
It
Um,
does.
so the other funny thing is like it's just me essentially, like I play live with kind of whoever's around,
Okay.
and it's never actually been a trio. Like the first show was 12 people,
Yes.
and then we're usually like at least 6 or 7, so it's kind of fun. But someday it'll be an actual trio maybe, but for now it's only in name only.
That makes it even better, honestly. Actually, I really love the name. Like the last time we did the live show, you weren't sure if that was going to be the name. It wasn't.
Oh, I mentioned it already.
Yes, it
Oh shit,
wasn't.
it's been kicking around
It,
a while.
it wasn't solidified yet as the name though. Um, and I was like, oh, that's kind of a like that's an interesting name. But you're right, it sticks. Like you can't forget it.
It's got a flow, Metal
It
Bubble
just
Trio.
works.
It's like easy to say. Yeah,
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 yeah. It's fun. It paints a picture too, in a way.
yeah, yeah. And like
Um,
you have three metal spheres. Like that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Now, is there anywhere we can hear any of the music, or just live right now?
Just live right now. It is done though.
The album's
I'm
done.
I'm waiting to see about a label, if I'm gonna self-release it or put it out with a label.
Okay.
And I'm not entirely sure yet. I like, I mean, we came up together in the same kind of world where it's like if Vagrant signs a band, or you know, Epitaph or whatever,
Mm,
you just like, they must be good, I'm going to listen to them.
right,
Or there's a comp and you hear like 8 new bands because like NoFX had a song on there, whatever it is.
right.
And um I remember Vagrant being like, oh, they signed, you know, I was obsessed with the Hippos, and they would sign, you know, the Get Up Kids. I don't know if they came before or after the Hippos, but
Yeah,
it's like a sign, it's a cosign, it's a sign of belief or whatever.
right.
And so I know you don't need a label anymore, but part of me is still just like, it would be cool to be on a cool label, and I would feel like I had a family in that way.
Absolutely, absolutely. You get a little more support that way too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
even down to like basic things like, oh, I got to pack up my own records and ship them, you know, and things like that.
Totally,
Like,
totally.
you know, so yeah, no, I totally get that. Um, well, I hope to hear it soon. I'm really psyched to hear it, and I'm definitely gonna buy it when it comes out. So
Well, I'll send it to you. It's I've only got, I should
yeah.
clarify that it's unmastered. I've got the mixes
Right,
final, but I do not have the masters done.
right.
Um, so once it's mastered, I'll send it to you. I'll send you the
I would
files.
love that. I would love
Uh,
that so much.
yeah, I'm pretty proud of it. I know it's not like a fun album, or I don't know, a Kendrick album where it's like, oh shit, this is it's an event of sorts, and it's
Mhm.
like, if Fun were to reunite, it would be I don't know. I feel like Fun is a different vibe, or it's pretty easy. The songs are pretty low stakes and small in terms of like, they're personal. They're not like world conquering anthems, but they are. I think it's music you could put on at a party or a dinner party, and it is kind of like, if you're paying attention, you'll be like, this is nice. The textures and melodies are beautiful, cool.
Yes.
But it's not like, all right, motherfucker, crank it up, and
Yeah.
you know, get your hands up. You know, it's not like that.
Right.
Um,
No, I
but
totally,
I'm proud of
totally.
it. I'm proud of it.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to hear it. You know, it's funny. I've been listening to a lot more stuff like that, I think, than
Yeah.
anything. Like, um, I got into some. Did you ever hear of Jonah Yano? I don't know if I'm saying his
No.
name right. Yano,
No.
yeah. It's kind of like experimental, kind of jazzy.
Ooh.
I think you'd actually really dig it.
How do you spell it?
Um, Jonah, Jonah, and then Yano, Yano. And the name of the album is Portrait of a Dog.
Portrait of a
And
Dog. My favorite name
yes.
right now. Sick.
And I think, yeah, that's like the kind of like I just bought that on vinyl. Like that's what I'm listening to now. And like, yeah, there's something about it. Like that kind of like if I'm sitting down to do something, I'm sitting down to do something creative.
Yeah.
Or yeah, we're like eating dinner or we're having people over. It's nice to have that stuff on. Like it works so much better than like pay attention to this. You know what I mean?
Right. It's like, I love
Living
Refused,
in
but
your
I'm not gonna
face.
put Refused on if I got people over.
Right. Right, exactly. So there's definitely a group, you know, a market out there for it. Like I'm not even saying like, you know, money wise, just like what's the word I'm looking for? Like a niche, you know, out
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
for it. It definitely needs to exist. So
I think it does. I mean, I think that's
yeah.
the way people listen to music now, is not like, what is the loudest, largest
Mm,
sound? It's more just like, what kind of a mood am I in? What kind of a vibe?
right.
And with Spotify, I feel like I just find random things through like a radio station. I'll put on like, I like this project, the Doopies, and so like Doopies radio leads me to a lot of cool stuff that's weird, and
Yes.
it's not like they've got a press team and a marketing budget. It's just like random paths through the algorithm, and
Yeah. No, I
you
know
know,
I do the same thing with like Apple Music. I'll put something on and it'll be playing all day long and it just kind of goes rogue and it goes on its own
yeah.
mission. And I found a lot of great bands like that, you know. Um I don't, you know, I mean the radio, top 10 radio stuff, I don't hate it, but I don't care for it. I don't go out on my way to listen to it, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Um so I'm always looking for like interesting new things. And yeah, that's probably the most modern way to do it is to just let the algorithm
It
take
knows.
over.
It knows what I like.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, man. What inspired the sound of Metal Bubble Trio?
Well, it started with it was in the pandemic, and somebody on Facebook shared this video of this little girl playing a bossa nova song.
Mhm.
It was, I just had to write about this for an article, so it's fresh in my mind. It's I Wish You Love, and the girl is, she's Mew Mew Guitar Girl, Miu Guitar Girl
Okay.
on
Sounds
YouTube.
familiar. Yeah.
So if you want to look up that, it's just her playing this
I'll write
gorgeous
that
bossa
down.
nova song with her little, 6-year-old voice singing with such tenderness. I heard that, and the pandemic was. I lead a pretty privileged life in so many ways, and for me, even in the pandemic, it was scary and rattling. It's like it
Yeah.
fucked the whole world up, kind of.
Yes.
And hearing that song, I was like, "Ooh, this makes me feel safe and good and
Hmm.
warm." All the things that I want music to sometimes make me feel. It hit me. It hit me.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I gotta know what these chords are she's playing. I gotta know what is happening here musically, because like I just don't know. The bossa nova kind of chord structure and flow is not what I have grown up playing. I'm a pop rock guy, and so I started taking lessons online and learning about these chord shapes and how to the transitional things, and then like I was just practicing a lot, trying to get my chops up and learn this stuff, just for no other reason than it felt good.
Yeah.
Um, and then at a certain point, I was just like doing an exercise, and I was like, man, I wish this chord went into that one. What happens when I do this? And what happens when I do that? And then I was writing melodies to that. And then all of a sudden I had a song, and I was like, like
Yeah.
I heard a song. I heard a song that I like. Uh, and then so I was like, oh shit, I think I'm gonna try that again. And it just kind of worked out that I just suddenly had an album plus worth of material. And then from then on, it took some fine tuning, and the recording process took a while, and I'm slow in general with that stuff. So um it took some doing after that, but that was the spark where I was like, that YouTube video, that it was my friend Jackie, I think, shared it, and I was just like, wow, this girl is and that song is hard to play.
Yeah.
Like, this girl is no joke. I mean, she's probably 10 by now, or I don't know when she made the video, but like it's complex,
Right.
and it has taken me a lot of practice to get my chops together.
You got any shows coming up?
Yeah, I'm doing a like a release party for this article I was talking about. I wrote a thing, and they do like a release party, so I'm doing that release party soon, and then I'm doing jazz night at this theater that I grew up going to the week after.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, which is cool because like as the band has practiced more, we've gotten more rock and roll, even like Weezery to some degree, which is kind of cool. But also, I agreed to do this jazz night, and I'm like, I want to do the rock side of what we're doing, but we're gonna have to dial it back a little bit for jazz night. But it'll be fun.
Oh, so you're gonna like change up the structure of the songs for the specific
Yeah,
show?
yeah.
Wow.
Which I kind of like about Metal Bowl Trio is I want it to be flexible in that way, where it's
Yeah.
like, sure, we do jazz night, but we could open for Weezer if they would ask us,
Right.
it's flexible, it's malleable, it can change shape based on who's around, who can play.
That's fucking so cool.
It's been a
I
lot of
re-
fun. It's interesting for me as an artist to have to practice and adapt show by show, kind of.
yeah. Yeah. Wow, I love is like opening for Weezer a thing, or are you just using that as an example?
An example only because we ripped them off with, so this song, one of my favorite songs on the album, has this outro that I think is really beautiful and tender, and one of the most like lyrically intense moments for me on the album, because it's about my like divorce, breakup,
Mhm.
death, losing people. It's about losing people.
Yeah.
And as I was rehearsing for the last show we did, I was like, I want to fucking rip this. I don't want to tiptoe through it live
Mhm.
because it's not going to work. And so I worked it up with the band, so it's almost like an Only in Dream style, like major build. And it's like 8 minutes of like crescendo until it just explodes. And our drummer is incredible. He can really wail. And So we've just been talking a lot about how we kind of like have Weezer moments. So that's
Yeah,
where
yeah, man.
they have not asked us. It's not like Rivers is like, please, MBT, please.
Well,
Maybe
it sounds like you
someday.
should, because
I
this
mean, I would love that. I love Weezer. They're still just one of my favorite bands ever. I can't
oh,
ever let go of Weezer.
they're fantastic, man. You know, they're like they put out a lot of albums over the past couple of years. Like, I wouldn't say too many, but like they pumped out a
They
lot.
did those Seasons albums. I
Yeah,
would maybe say too many. Those are
yeah,
very
yeah,
catchy, very consistent. But when they're good though, they're really good still.
yeah, yeah. They really are. And I mean, still to this day, nothing can beat like the original albums, you know, and
So good.
like they they definitely last the test of time. There's no doubt about that.
Dude.
So
We're
good.
gonna cover. So our guitar player had never heard. He'd heard like "Say It Ain't So" and "Buddy Holly," but never the full Blue album. And we
Right.
were like, "Wait, are you telling me you've never heard like Jonas, like Only in
Mm,
Dreams? You never heard The World Has Turned and Left Me Here? Are you fucking? You're a musician
right.
that grew up at the same time as we did, and somehow missed that?
Right.
It's crazy to me." So anyway, we were just talking through it and playing the songs together, and he was like, "This is pretty good," and we're like, "Yeah, it's pretty good. It's like one of the best albums ever." Um, so we're gonna do a Christmas show. We're gonna do Blue Christmas, where
Oh, that's awesome.
we cover the Blue album front to back,
That's
um,
fantastic.
which would be fun. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
That's so cool. The one time I saw them live, it was a long time ago because they were promoting the Green album. So
Okay.
it
Wow. Yeah.
was, what did they have at that point? Maybe 3 albums.
Yep.
But
Yep.
those are like my 3 favorite albums. So like, yeah, I got to hear all those songs live, and you said Only in Dreams. They closed with that, and it was like the most amazing closer. You know what I mean?
I saw them. Were they with I saw them around that time. They were with Tenacious D and somebody else. I
Oh,
feel like it
definitely not Tenacious D, because I would have remembered
okay.
that. Um,
Because yeah, they did Only in Dreams and like confetti came down at
yes,
the time. It was so cool. It
yes.
was magic.
I wish I had a better memory, but it's funny. Those are the little things I remember. I'll remember. I don't
Yeah.
remember who opened, but I remember confetti. You know.
Yep. Yep. I saved a piece of the confetti. I think I still have it, but I kept it in my wallet for years and years after that.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I just
Yeah,
actually,
such a fan.
yeah, that's so great. I went to a concert last week. Like, I haven't been to a show in, I don't even know how long, years. It was Blink-182.
Oh, cool.
My friend, my mom passed at the end of last year.
Oh
So
shit.
one of my
Sorry.
friends, thank you. One of my friends that you know, was very close to my mom. He bought us tickets to go. And it was cool, man. You know, it was very nostalgic, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they're not a great live band, honestly. Like, they're not very technical live. You know, they're a studio band.
It's just the three of them live.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I've never actually
it's
seen them
fun,
live.
you know.
Okay.
Those songs are fun, you know, those older
Yeah.
songs. I mean, yeah, it was a good time. I don't know where I'm going with this, but the yeah, I need to have more concerts in my life, you know. It reminded
Yeah.
me, like, I need to go and see more things, you know. It's just like
Totally. Feels
life's
good to
been
get there.
crazy, you know. Life's just been
Yeah.
crazy. The past couple of years, I mean, yeah, the pandemic started it. When I think of like the beginning of this new era, I think of 2020, right?
Yep. Totally.
It started everything. And just the way time moves is really strange. I find like I've been doing this for like 3 or 4 years now, and it's like, what? That's
Yeah.
crazy to me, you know. A
Yeah.
lot of the times I'll go and write the date down. I'll put 2022. I don't even know it's 2023
Same. It
because
does
it doesn't
not
even
feel.
feel it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I was looking at a can of like a can of nuts or something that I had gotten from Trader Joe's, and it said 2024, and I was like, what does that mean? Like, what year is it? Or there was
Yeah, is
something.
that good or is that bad? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like what? Or yeah, like some something and something was 2022. And I was like, oh, this is still good. Like it's only,
Yeah.
1999 or whatever.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
yeah.
No, I know. I get it's just the way time moves. It's crazy. Like, weeks go, they just fly by, right?
Yeah.
Months fly by.
Yeah.
And yeah, like end of last year was crazy because I was reopening this business, and then my mom got sick. I mean, my mom was sick for like 15 years. She had cancer. So while it wasn't a total shock, the way it happened was because it was like 1 week she was fine, the next week she was in the hospital and couldn't
Oh,
talk anymore. And then the next week she was in hospice. And, I still haven't like personally processed it yet. Like I grieved, of course, and like it was upsetting, but like had to adapt to it so quickly. Like
yeah.
just like a week before she was in the hospital, we were like out to lunch. You know what I mean? So
Oh
like
man.
I had to process it. So it wasn't like, oh, she has a year left or she has, and I mean, life's not perfect like that. It's just the way it goes.
Right.
I know this is kind of a bummer, but like this is the reason why I haven't been doing this podcast for a long time, because I haven't been myself, because I just have this part of me that just has not sat down and been like, all right, this happened. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like when I went to my dad's house yesterday, it was like, she wasn't there. And it's just like, wait, what? Like, I still think she's here, but she's not.
Right.
You know
She
what I
just
mean?
like out at the store or like what?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. It's so strange. And I feel like everyone in the family kind of is going through the same thing, to where it's like, we can't believe, we know it happened, but we can't believe that it happened.
yeah.
And it's almost like, I don't know, not denial, but like I said, just unable to process it,
Yeah.
it's really crazy.
Yeah. I mean, how could I live across the street from my parents and I think about
Yeah.
this all the time.
I live right around the corner from them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just like, what would I do? What would that even feel like? Like I
Right.
cannot
Right.
imagine life without my parents. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you're the same way where it's just like, what? Like what?
Yeah.
She cannot be gone. That doesn't make any sense.
Right. Right. We always had a good relationship, I mean, in my teen years, maybe I was kind of like a punk ass, a little bit, but like as I got older, like we were closer than ever, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was 76, so really not that old. And like I said, she was sick for a long time, but she always fought it. And that's where it was like, you think she's immortal, like this will never kill her. And then it does, and you're like out of nowhere, and you're like, holy shit, like this is new reality, this is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something I always thought about too. I was like, how's it gonna be? Or and this is gonna go really deep, but like, how's it gonna what's gonna happen to me when I die? Like, where am I gonna be?
Totally.
How old am
Yeah.
I gonna be? Like, I'm 42 now, so these things, I'm not saying I'm old, but like these things start to set in. You
It's a
start to think
reality
about them.
that's
You know what I
impending.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't look, it's part of life. There's no doubt about that. You know what I mean? It's not like, you can avoid it. Right.
Nobody does. Yeah.
Right. It's just such a weird thing to think about. And like, what happens after we were
Yeah.
gone? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like a very spiritual person, but I definitely believe something has to happen, right? It can't just be black, right?
Could be. I don't know.
I'm asking the hardest question on earth.
No, I love it though. I love that this is where like we can go from like whatever. I think taking this kind of a turn is awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like I want to believe that there is some existence beyond what we currently can experience,
Right.
but I don't know. Like if I squish an ant in my kitchen, I don't really think that ant is going to a great beyond.
Right.
So like, am I that much different from the ant? I don't know.
Yeah.
Should I not squish any ant because I know that like if this tiny window of a life is all we get, then every life is so insanely precious that I should
Right.
probably even let that ant outside. I don't know.
Yeah.
I also think that like maybe we wake up into a different reality that like is some kind of cosmic plane or is a heaven or is something after. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And at the same time, like I don't fear it. I don't fear death.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm careful in life. Like I'm not like gonna purposely put my life in danger,
Sure.
but if something happens, it happens. But like, yeah, it's just a crazy thing to think about. And like I find myself now when I go outside at night, like I'll look up at the sky, which something I've really never done for some reason. Like I never really paid attention to the things around me as much as I do now.
Mm.
But I look up at the sky, look at the stars, and as much as like maybe this is a cliche, like I'll look for the brightest star, and I'll think
Oh,
it's her, like saying
yeah.
hello. You know what I mean? And I'll say to myself, I'll say like flash if it's you, and it'll flash a
Oh,
little bit. And I'm sure it's just coincidence, but like there's something about that.
there's
That
something
feels
really
good,
powerful in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think, I think there's some truth to that. I think there's like a reality that lives on. And I think like the people that touch our hearts so deeply literally gave you life. Like
Yeah.
there's got to be some tether to this realm that would enable that star to flash at you, like there's
Right.
that kind of love doesn't die, I don't think.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. Even though she's not physically here, she is. You,
yeah,
you know what I mean? And that's what gets me through it, really. It's just like I'll never really believe it though. It's just
yeah.
it's so bizarre. Um she wound up going, she was on the fence about going to get chemotherapy for her third time
Mm,
because she was older, and she was warned about it, like it might not be as
sure.
easy than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And first session she went to, she got really sick, and then like a week later she was in the hospital, and
Oh,
that was it. Like the radiation was way too much.
yeah.
It was just way too much, and you know she let it go for a long time, which I understand too. It's like she never really told anybody directly what was going on, because that's how she was. She didn't want anyone to worry,
Yeah.
or to feel like troubled by it. And but she was riddled with it. It took over her like whole body,
Yeah.
and so they had to really blast her with the chemo, and it just did not work out. you know
Oof. I mean,
but
chemo sounds, from what I understand, to be just a nightmare in and of itself. Like
yes.
the treatment is as bad as the disease in
Yeah.
terms of
Right.
vomiting, whatever. Like it just messes you up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're literally
Yeah, yeah,
poisoning yourself. But like, she fought it twice. She did it twice, and she came out the other side, and the third time just did not work out. But like the most frustrating part of the whole thing was that she couldn't talk. Like she lost her ability to speak. And it was like, that's when I was grieving, like when she was still alive.
right, right.
When she passed, because I knew she hated the hospital. She hated, you know, being in a hospital bed. And it was a relief in a way when she passed. Like, and I know a lot of people say that, like, oh, but it's really true, you know?
I bet. I mean, it's probably so much pain.
Yeah.
She's probably frustrated that she can't talk because I'm sure her
Yeah.
mind is still there. And it's just
Right.
like, yeah,
There was one day we were at the hospital, and then I'm going to end this because, it's a lot. But this is actually kind of funny. We were in the hospital, and she was trying to tell us something. Now, prior to her trying to speak, um, we left the stove on at her house because we had no brains. Like we were rushing around all the time, me and my wife, and just running back and forth to the hospital. And we left like soup on the stove, like on a low simmer. It was no big deal. It wasn't going to blow the house up. But we're like, oh shit, we left the stove on when we were at the hospital. And then like a half an hour later, she's like, she's trying to speak. And she's like, tell dad. And we're like, tell dad what? Like we were thinking it was going to be like some kind of profound
like tell him I
thing.
love him, and yeah,
Yeah, tell him I love him, or tell him like there's money hidden under the dresser, or
yeah,
whatever it was going to
yeah,
be. And she's like, tell dad to turn the stove off. And I'm like, oh my God. Even as she's dying, she's worried about me
right,
and my
right,
house. And you know what I mean?
yeah.
And I'm like, it's just crazy. Um,
Man, that's funny. I was thinking about my mom today. I've been really trying to like practice a lot of like gratitude, which I know sounds like so silly and stupid and
no,
cliche,
it's
whatever.
not, man. It's not.
But I was really trying to think like I am so grateful for them.
Yeah.
And what you just said reminded me about something I was thinking about my mom, about how she like gives and gives, and she gave throughout my whole life. and now she's a grandma. My brother has kids. My niece and nephew were up this weekend, and I see that same kind of like energy and care, and it's just like I'm gonna like get emotional here.
Yeah.
Apologies if I start crying,
No, it's okay.
but like it's like you get like I feel like a mother or a father, any kind of parent. I think this can be true depending on the kind of parent you are. But like you give until there's nothing left, and then like you have to keep just giving more.
Yeah.
And that your mom just reminded me of that with just like of course of like she's still thinking about you. She's still giving.
Yeah.
She still loves you and considers you and is like thinking about your day-to-day world so
Yes.
much that like even in that situation she cares about you.
Yeah.
It's just like that's a mother's love right there.
It really is, man. And yeah, I mean, we all miss her very much. And like it's just wild. It really is, because we thought we started talking about it last year, like, all right, this might be the last couple of years here, like
Yeah.
but then to just happen like in a 2-week period, it was just. And even while we were visiting her at the hospital and everything, it was like she was like telling us to go home. She didn't
Sure.
even want us to be there, like not wasting our time, but like not doing what we do. Like, she was the most
Right.
selfless
Like
person.
don't make a fuss over
Yeah,
me.
right. So yeah,
Man. That
everybody out there, love your mother.
seriously.
And keep in touch and talk to her.
Yeah, if you're lucky enough to have
Yeah,
a parent to alive, don't take it for granted
absolutely,
that you
man.
have a relationship with. I guess not everybody necessarily wants that to be a part of their day-to-day life, which
Absolutely.
fair.
Yes. Some, listen, not everyone has that. We're lucky we have that.
For sure.
So yeah, man. I'm very excited to hear. Um, this is my segue. Uh, very excited to hear Metal Bubble Trio. I really can't wait, because it sounds like it's right up my alley. Now, you scored a few soundtracks last time we were talking.
Yeah.
Sons of Toledo
Yep.
and Beirut Dreams in Color.
Yes.
But at that time we spoke, though, they weren't available yet. Like, they were just pre-production, or
Right.
like being, not pre-production, but in production. There we go.
Yeah.
So are they available now?
Yeah, Beirut Dreams in Color is available through the Guardian website, and
Guardian?
the the Guardian ended up, I think, buying the rights and producing it.
Okay.
And then I put the score. I still own the score, so I put that up on Spotify just because I was
Oh,
proud of
nice.
it.
That is up on Spot. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So that one is Sons of Toledo. I don't know where that is viewable, and I didn't end up putting that score up just because it doesn't make as much sense musically, like to hear without the film. It's a little more like in and out and spare, and it's not quite as like Beirut Dreams in Color has almost like instrumental songs
Right.
that build and ebb and flow and make sense alone. And Sons of Toledo didn't end up working that way, so I didn't post that one.
Now, you did some acting yourself,
I did. I
which
was
which I found out today. Liza on Demand.
yeah. I got to play Bruce, the piano player.
Are you in all the episodes?
Just one.
Oh, just one. Okay.
Yeah. So I did the music for the whole series, but
Oh, okay.
there was a musical episode that the Jake Fogelnest, who's a brilliant dude. I've I've met him only once or twice in person, so I can't really say like he's my friend. But I think we follow each other on Instagram, or I at least follow him. So I feel like he's my friend. I'm a fan of his, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Anyway, he wrote this episode called Gentrification, the musical. And
Okay.
it is very funny. And the cast of Liza is really funny. So he had these lyrics that I got to turn into songs, which is kind of what I do. I do that a lot. And it came out pretty well. They were looking for somebody to play play this piano in the thing as the characters are rehearsing. And I was like, well, I could do that. I could be
Yeah.
that. I can't really act, but if you give me a line or two, I can say it.
Yeah.
I could try.
Is acting something you ever wanted to pursue?
I think so. I mean, yeah. I mean, I feel like there's a part of every person to some degree that maybe
Yeah.
does, but or like you'll be like you'll be in line at Dairy Queen and somebody will be like, you look sort of like young Anakin Skywalker. Can you do, like, we're gonna do an adolescent thing where he gets, I don't know.
Yeah, you want to be
Like that,
discovered, right?
it's like
Like in a way.
it's also my hope, like if I'm shooting hoops down at the park, it's my hope that like a scout, like I'll be sinking a 3-pointer and a scout will drive by and be like,
Yeah.
can you just post up and do that? Can you just hover around the three? I know you're 40 years old, but like with that shot, we can make you into I'm just like,
Yeah.
these stupid, bizarre fantasies that I have constantly, even though I'm old enough to know better.
They do happen though. It's not like they do happen. I think what's his name? The Stifler was found at like Home Depot. He was working at Home Depot.
But he's like a model. He's like a supermodel. I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, it was his sense of humor though.
right, and he is super funny.
Yeah, yeah.
He's I was just listening to was it Stern or maybe Conan? I was listening to an interview with him and was just thinking like, this is an intelligent dude too. Like, I think to be funny, you have to be pretty darn smart.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Anyway, I was quite taken with him. And I know Ashton Kutcher is really smart too.
Yeah. Yeah. He's you have to, I think some of the best comedians, or at least the ones that I really like, actors or like stand-ups, kind of come from like a dark place, even though they're really funny, right? Like they can almost be both. And I think it takes that kind of like coming from those kind of places to be funny, right? Like, does that make sense? Like, who's a good example of somebody like Ray Romano, right?
Sure.
He's very funny. Like he's got that show, Everybody Loves Raymond, and that's kind of like a lighthearted family show, but his stand-up can be a little dark and things like that. Sure. Or like movies that he's made personally can be kind of dark, and it really works. Even like Adam Sandler, like, I mean, he's done some of the dumbest movies ever made, and then like some of the most serious movies ever made, and they're both good.
Absolutely. Yeah. When I see him speak or like when I see Adam Sandler, not one of his characters, I always think like, this guy looks like he's carrying a lot of like weight, like a lot of pressure in his head. Like he seems like he's like, like he doesn't seem like goofy and crazy.
Right.
He maybe saves that, or maybe that's in there somewhere, but like, there's a darkness, I think,
Absolutely. Like something like Uncut Gems. I don't know if you saw that movie.
Yeah. You see how
like
skilled he is and how incredible he is.
Yeah. Like, where did that come from? You know what I mean? Or someone like Steve Carell's another good example. Like, he does a lot of like kind of slapstick, goofy humor.
Right.
But then like when he's in a movie, like a serious movie, it's like the darkest fucking movie that's ever existed.
Yeah, that wrestling one, Foxcatcher. That was
oh my God. That was so, yes, I did. It's so dark. And
he's incredible in it. He is. I love Steve Carell. He's incredible. Sure. Yeah.
And that always kind of amazed me. And I think those are like my favorite like kind of comedians or things I like to watch, because I don't know, I guess it resonates with me,
Yeah, you see the range and the depth and the talent that these people have.
There's a lot of layers.
Yeah. I think my musicians to be like that too. Like, who's a good example? Okay, like Sufjan Stevens, for example.
Mm-hmm.
The music is so delicate and beautiful and serious and poetic, but he's actually pretty funny. Like, he like journal, he'll post an online journal or whatever. I've met him a few times, and like he's pretty funny.
Yeah.
He's not like a goofball necessarily, or maybe he is around people he's close with, but like,
right. Well, like
lightheartedness there, I think.
Absolutely. Look at like Chris, Fences.
Yeah, Chris is super funny.
He is one of the funniest people I've ever known. Like, some of the things he texts me or like sends me, he'll do like impersonations of people, and it's like ridiculous. And then his songs are like, heartbreaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice when people can pull either lever. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's next? What's next for the Dost man?
Well, now that I'm leaving Teaching for now at least. Imposing structure upon myself is a big thing that I'm thinking about a lot. And that means finishing the Metal Bubble Trio album, getting that out in whatever capacity. That includes getting artwork together, which I'm working on with my friend Tommy here. That has been a lot of fun to conceive that stuff, and just, you know, get together and do a photo shoot with Tommy is really fun.
Yeah.
I've got a book that I'm working on. I've got an animation project I'm working on.
Oh, wow.
And I've got a Christmas project that I'm working on. So I've got like things in the air that I'm trying to get a handle on how to finish them, in what order,
Yeah.
and actual steps towards doing those things, rather than just being like, I have a project. I
Right.
hope somebody does that for me at some point and then hands it to
Right.
me and put my name on it. Like, it doesn't work like that. Like,
Right.
what is the thing that I can do today or in the next hour that gets me a little bit closer to each goal?
Absolutely.
Just trying to define what that looks like for myself.
Yeah. I really feel that, man. Yeah. I'm in the same boat. Like, I'm always trying to organize myself, you know,
Sure.
and it's been a little tougher than normal, but yeah,
Well,
you
I mean, you're
get there.
grieving too. I
Yeah.
don't think grieving makes any of that easier.
No, but you know what? One of the most important things to remember is like one thing at a time, like one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, you know?
Totally.
Like when you start to put so many things in one basket and like, yeah, you don't know where to start. Just,
Yeah.
I guess the first step is fine. Like, all right, I'm going to work on this project. Like I'm doing the Christmas thing, or, you know, or whatever, and just focus on that and like take
Yeah.
that one step at a time until it's done, you know? I know
Yeah.
it doesn't really work like that sometimes. Like you gotta, you know, kind of go in and out of things, but I find it's the best way to do it is just
It's the only
one
thing.
step. Yeah.
Yeah. We get so, as a culture, we get very like multitask oriented.
Yes.
And that just, I used to think that that was how I worked. Like, I
Uh,
can do this. And then without realizing, like, everything is not getting done, everything is suffering. Now I'm realizing, like, multitask doesn't have to mean like I'm eating a sandwich as I'm writing an email, and you know,
Right.
it's like I
Right.
can do one thing at a time,
Yes.
and I just need to maybe like learn, like, structure what that one thing is at a time.
Right.
Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's the way to do it. Like, whether, and it's yeah, it's one step. Like, I've been trying to get in good shape, and
Me
that's the
too.
same
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. That feels good though, to be like, okay, I
Yeah.
could do this thing today that I couldn't do yesterday, and tomorrow it'll
Right.
be a little bit better.
Right.
And if I can be patient and I can trust the process, then like maybe in 5 months, I'll be, you know, unrecognizably far along, and I'll be
Yeah.
able to run 10 miles where it's like I can't even run a mile right now. And
Right.
that, you know, but I know that that's how exercise works, is like you get stronger, you get better.
Absolutely. 100%, man. I've been going to the gym every morning. Like,
Oh, nice.
you know, I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm not like trying to, you know, lift 300 pounds. I'm just doing some cardio, a little bit of weights, and just like it feels good. An amazing way to start your day. It really
Absolutely.
is, man. And if you have the ability to do it in the morning, I like when I used to go to the gym, I would go after work at night, which is the last thing I want to do after work.
That's so tough. You just want to be
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
Yeah,
So the
same. A lot of us.
mornings, and I was never a morning person, like, but I made myself, I was like, you know what? How can I take two things I don't really like and put them together and make it something I do like? And it actually
Totally.
worked. I was like, I hate the mornings. I don't hate going to the gym. But just like the whole getting up process for me
Yeah.
has even been better. Like I just get up and I go to the gym and come home, eat and go to work and take a shower.
Yeah, and yeah, it's like the
Yeah.
hardest thing is done. Like, showing up is the hardest thing, I think, is just like,
Yeah.
then once you're there, you're like, well, I might as well do it. I might as well lift the
Right.
weight
Yeah.
here.
And I'll tell you this, man, if music wasn't a thing, I would not be able to do any of it. Like I
Oh yeah.
need, yeah, music is like the soundtrack to every event of my day.
Do you do like a pump up thing like at the gym? Is it like energizing music, or like what is it?
Yes, I make like playlists. I'll make like a whole pop punk playlist or like
Okay.
a whole like, you know, It needs to be energetic. Like I'll even listen to some like electronic and things like that.
Sure. Okay.
Um, just for the gym, and then like I'll go home and like I was saying before, we were talking about like, listening to music while you're just in the background, right?
Yeah.
I'll just put on something like chill and it literally gets me through every step of the day. So thank you for being a contributor to that too.
Uh, yeah. I think that's something I think about a lot. That was part of too what like led me back to writing songs and getting back into the music world again. Is like, what is the point? Who cares? It doesn't matter. Like, there's a million bands. There's a million the Beatles are all you really need anyway, or like, Steve Miller Band or Stevie Wonder or what, like all the best music has already been made anyway. So why am I going to add more shit to the pile in 2022 or whatever year it is?
All right.
Uh, but like ultimately I was just like, I have to, like, there's a part
Yeah.
of my being that like, that's how it wants to come out. And it doesn't matter that like, maybe nobody will even care, maybe nobody will hear it, but that can be their choice. And I can do what I can do. And maybe if it touches one person's life or enables one person to do an extra rep or helps somebody with the grieving process or whatever it is, then like it certainly helped me to process my own grief in writing some of these songs, to be like the title track is Cucumber, the last song in the album, and the album is called Cucumber, and it's about, this is funny, it's about my mom losing her mom,
Wow.
because her mom died when I was maybe 5 years old. I think her mom was in her late 50s, early 60s, so young, and about like the ways in which my mom has had to kind of go through life and her own motherhood journey without her mother, and nobody to really ask questions to or get advice from, or so that's kind of what Cucumber is about, is trying to like slice it. It sounds stupid, but to me it means a lot. Like,
Doesn't sound stupid.
so my mom cuts the skin off cucumbers,
Yeah.
and I was like, you don't need to do that. You can eat the skin. Why do you do that?
Hey.
And she was like, well, I don't know. My mom did it. That's how my mom did it. So I just do it that way. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I already had the title. I knew that that's what the song and the album were called, but I didn't know why.
Right.
And then like that moment happened, and I connected the dots of like, that's what it is. That's why it's called Cucumber. That makes so much sense to me now. It's about the whole album is about trying to feel close to these relationships that have disappeared for whatever reason, breakup, divorce, death. And my mom like is able to reconnect to her mom anytime she's making a salad, because like it's just this ritual that is
Yeah.
like, this is how, how my grandma did it. And it just is like, these people are never gone,
Yeah.
like I was saying earlier, like they're in our lives in ways that are cosmic or just right here in front of you. They're just there. They just stay with us. Um, and I realize it's kind of the same for me as a listener as well as an artist, where I'm like, yeah, this helps me day to day. So I need to do it, even if it feels useless or superfluous or like nobody's going to listen, because they might not, but I need to do it.
Yeah.
Um, and it's kind of part of this conversation where it's like, yeah, some song that I heard helped me through my own life, or like the Rentals album, who, the bassist of Weezer for the first couple albums, went off and did its own thing. The Rentals, who is, I love. Do you ever listen to the Rentals?
I definitely know that like one popular song. So,
Yeah, Friends of P kind of had a hit. Yeah. Um,
Songs of P or something like that.
yeah, Friends of
Or
P.
Friends of
Pretty
P.
good.
There we go.
Great song. That whole
Yeah.
album though is wildly good. And the one
Yes.
after too. Um, but that has helped me. I return to that when I go through breakups, and when I went through my divorce, where I'm just like, my kind of first serious breakup, that album really touched my heart. And to return to that place time and again it's still there for me. It's like an old friend that I can talk to. It's just like, music matters in that way. And I just like I feel that again. And I think I didn't for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? That's why I listen to certain things, like I'll listen to anything you make because like I'm excited to go listen to soundtrack for the movie, you know, like the
Oh,
score,
sweet. Thanks, man.
you know, because I know where it's coming from, you know, and that's touching in
Yeah.
a way. And it's really like, even if, you know, it's not top 10 on Spotify or millions of people listening to it, it's still important and it's still special. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
I'm really
So
proud of that one.
yeah,
The film is beautiful. I think it's about 30 minutes long if you feel like checking it out, but
yeah.
the story is intense, and it's a documentary, and
Mhm,
it deals with like small human, not small human issues. The issues are large, but like the scale of it is within like one person's life, but
mhm,
also like the bomb blast that rocked Beirut.
mhm.
Like very big kind of global issues and then very personal issues. It kind of covers the whole spread. My friend Michael
Yeah,
directed it, and he's brilliant, and he walked that line very well, I think, in terms of like micro to macro. And
right.
to come up with a score for that was a really fun challenge. I really enjoyed making that.
No, I'm definitely gonna check that out actually because I like that kind of stuff. You know, that's kind of how I am in a way. Like
Sure.
I take everything in, like that's a little picture and relate it all to the big picture, right?
Yeah, yeah.
In a way. Um, so yeah, like you were saying before about the cucumber, you know, like that's not stupid. That's beautiful, man. That's amazing. You know what I mean? And
Yeah. So I mean, it meant I felt something as I was doing it, which I think is like the
yeah,
only real barometer we have for anything. It's like I don't know, but it gave me a feeling. So
absolutely, man. I've always had this like burning desire in me to do something creative, you know, and like I like doing this, but there's not much creativity in it. You know, it's just
really,
talking. Yeah. I
I
mean,
don't know, man. I disagree. I think it's an intensely creative act to communicate and to talk. Like
yeah, maybe
it's
maybe I'm
it's
under, you know,
you're improvising, you're storytelling, you're connecting threads. Like that is intensely creative.
yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Thanks. You know, I never really looked at it like that. I'm always like, oh, it's just two people talking, you know, like,
Well,
but
it
there is
is, but
something in it. Yeah, yeah,
it's also
yeah,
so much more than that. I mean, like me writing songs is just like some idiot with a guitar having, it's like it's all what you make it, and like the way I think that you communicate and tell stories, it's so much more than just. I mean, that's why people listen to your show. It's like
yeah,
'cause you're a compelling. It's creative. It's creativity. It's art.
yeah. I really appreciate that, man. Thank
Yeah,
you. Coming from you,
yeah.
that means a lot. And you know, you were actually one of the few people that I have on the show that I keep in touch with, you know,
I
like,
appreciate that. Yeah, let's not let that happen again where we go a
yeah.
while without it.
No, even still though, like even if it's been a couple of years, it's like we just pick up right where we were, and I think
Yeah,
that's a cool relationship too because you know it just you don't have that often. You really
totally.
don't, you know. So yeah, we definitely got to keep in touch, and if you need any help with like the artwork or anything, I do that kind of stuff too. So um,
Yeah, I was thinking as I was talking
yeah,
through that, I was like, oh, maybe we should do something. I'll think on that for
yeah,
sure.
absolutely. And yeah, you're the DOS man from now on. That's it.
All right, I'll take it.
All right, Andrew, this was a fucking great time, man.
It's a
Thanks
pleasure.
for
Thank
thanks for
you. It
listening to me, and thanks for bearing with me because I'm kind of rusty, honestly.
was great. It was
Uh,
a lot of fun catching
awesome,
up.
awesome. It was great catching up, and yeah, we'll keep in touch.
Hell fucking
We kind of we have like every streaming service that exists. It's like ridiculous, you know.
You kind
But
of
we
have
don't have cable though, so that's all we got is this streaming
right. Well,
service.
I had cable. This is God. This is going to be like your listeners are going to be like, fuck these guys. This is so stupid. Talking about their cable subscriptions and stuff. I
I like just talking about regular shit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, me too. Yeah, they're if they didn't give up at the death and afterlife stuff, they'll definitely give up now.
Yeah.
But